Hello to all our mature and wise viewers. Today we're going to talk about something that directly affects your quality of life, memory, and even your mood: brain inflammation. Recent research from Harvard University and the National Institute on Aging reveals that low-grade chronic inflammation in the brain is one of the main factors behind age-related cognitive decline. Most concerning? This inflammation often presents no obvious symptoms until significant damage has already occurred. The good news is that much of this inflammation is caused by food choices we can modify. Today, we'll reveal 8 foods that silently inflame your brain after age 65. Some of them are probably in your daily diet and may even be recommended as healthy. Let's discover what they are, and more importantly, what to replace them with. Food 1. Refined vegetable oils. Refined vegetable oils such as soybean, corn, sunflower, and canola oils are perhaps the most underestimated brain inflammatories in the modern diet. After 65, the brain becomes particularly vulnerable to their effects. Why they're problematic? They contain extremely high levels of omega-6, which in excess promotes inflammation. The refining process creates oxidized compounds toxic to neurons. When heated, they produce aldehydes that damage brain cell membranes. They also compete with anti-inflammatory omega-3s at cellular receptors. A University of California, San Francisco study found that people with high blood levels of fatty acids from refined vegetable oils had significantly smaller hippocampal volume, a crucial region for memory. Where they hide? Practically all processed and packaged foods, most restaurant and fast food items, commercial salad dressings, commercial baked goods, margarines and spreads. Healthy substitutes: extra virgin olive oil, rich in neuroprotective polyphenols; avocado oil, rich in vitamin E, a neuronal protector; coconut oil provides ketones, an alternative fuel for the brain; ghee, clarified butter, rich in fat-soluble vitamins. Food 2. Added sugars and high fructose corn syrup. Excessive sugar consumption is particularly harmful to the aging brain, which already has naturally reduced insulin sensitivity with age. Why they're problematic? They cause glucose spikes followed by cerebral vascular inflammation, promote cerebral insulin resistance, now called type 3 diabetes, form advanced glycation end products that damage brain proteins, feed harmful gut bacteria that produce neuroinflammatory toxins, displace neuroprotective nutrients from the diet. A 10-year study in the New England Journal of Medicine showed that people with elevated blood sugar levels, even below the diabetic threshold, had significantly higher risk of developing dementia. Where they hide? Sweetened beverages including natural juices, flavored yogurts, breakfast cereals, ready-made sauces like ketchup and barbecue sauce, protein and granola bars. Healthy substitutes: whole fruits, fiber slows sugar absorption; berries, low glycemic index and rich in antioxidants; natural sweeteners in small amounts such as raw honey or pure maple syrup; spices like cinnamon and cardamom help regulate blood sugar; dark chocolate, 70% cocoa or higher. Food 3. Refined grains. White breads, pastas, white rice, and other refined grains are quickly converted to glucose, creating inflammatory effects similar to sugar. Why they're problematic? Cause rapid glucose and insulin spikes, lack fibers that feed beneficial gut bacteria, often contain neurotoxic additives and bleaching agents, promote imbalance in gut microbiota, affecting the gut-brain axis, displace whole grains rich in B-complex vitamins essential for brain health. Columbia University researchers found that high consumption of refined grains was associated with reduced gray matter volumes in memory-related brain regions in adults over 65. Where they hide? Breads, even those labeled wheat without specifying whole; breakfast cereals, crackers and cookies, conventional pastas, bakery products. Healthy substitutes: truly whole grains like quinoa, rolled oats, brown rice; low-carb alternatives such as cauliflower rice or spaghetti squash; legumes, beans, lentils, chickpeas; naturally fermented breads like sourdough; legume pastas made from lentils or chickpeas. Food 4. Processed animal proteins. Processed meats such as bacon, sausage, ham, salami, and other smoked or cured meats are particularly problematic for the aging brain. Why they're problematic? Contain elevated levels of N-nitroso compounds that damage neuronal DNA, rich in heme iron, which can cause oxidative stress in the brain, contain high levels of salt associated with decreased cognitive function, often include neurotoxic preservatives and additives. Cooking at high temperatures creates heterocyclic amines. A 2020 study in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease found a direct correlation between frequent consumption of processed meats and accelerated cognitive decline in adults over 60. Where they hide: deli counter meats, sausages, canned meats, commercial jerky and dried meats, frozen meals. Healthy substitutes: omega-3 rich fish like wild salmon, sardines, and mackerel, pasture-raised poultry, lean red meats from grass-fed animals, in moderation, plant proteins, tofu, tempeh, legumes, eggs from pasture-raised chickens, rich in choline, essential for brain health. Food 5. Artificial sweeteners. Contrary to popular belief, artificial sweeteners are not safe alternatives to sugar, especially for the aging brain. Why they're problematic: alter gut microbiota, negatively affecting the gut-brain axis. Some studies suggest direct neurotoxicity, particularly from aspartame, may increase craving for sweets, associated with higher risk of stroke and dementia, may interfere with brain protective enzymes. A cohort study published in Stroke Journal followed 2,888 adults over 45 and found a link between diet drinks and a threefold increase in the risk of stroke and dementia. Where they hide: diet drinks, sugar-free or low-calorie products, chewing gum and candies, table sweeteners, many supplements and medications. Healthy substitutes: water naturally flavored with fruits and herbs, herbal teas, small amounts of honey or maple syrup, fruits to satisfy sweet cravings, spices like cinnamon and vanilla. Food 6. Foods high in copper. Although copper is essential, its accumulation after age 65 is associated with neurodegeneration and brain inflammation. Why it's problematic: the aging brain struggles to regulate copper levels. Excess copper promotes neuronal oxidative stress, interacts with brain proteins like beta amyloid, increasing toxicity. Competes with zinc, vital for cognitive function, can damage the blood-brain barrier. Researchers at the University of Rochester found that elevated copper levels were linked to faster cognitive decline in the elderly. Where it hides: tap water from copper pipes, shellfish, especially oysters and lobster, dark chocolate and cocoa, nuts and seeds in large amounts, liver. Balancing strategies: use filters that remove heavy metals from tap water. Limit, not eliminate, high copper foods. Eat more zinc-rich foods like pumpkin seeds and meat. Include molybdenum-rich foods such as legumes. Ask your doctor to check your copper levels if there's a family history of neurodegenerative diseases. Food 7. Monosodium glutamate, MSG, and flavor enhancers. MSG and similar compounds are excitotoxins and especially harmful to the aging brain. Why they're problematic: can overstimulate neurons to death, cross the blood-brain barrier more easily in older adults, promote inflammation through glutamate receptors, trigger headaches and neuroinflammation in sensitive individuals, may worsen existing brain conditions. A Beijing University study of 10,000 seniors linked high MSG intake with accelerated cognitive decline over 5.5 years. Where they hide: industrial soups and broths, snacks and chips, ready-made sauces and seasoning mixes, frozen foods, restaurant meals, especially fast food. Healthy substitutes: fresh and dried herbs, homemade broths, naturally fermented seasonings like miso and real soy sauce, nutritional yeast for umami flavor, dried mushrooms such as shiitake and portobello. Food 8. High glycemic index foods. Foods that spike blood sugar rapidly are dangerous to the brain after 65, a time when insulin sensitivity naturally drops. Why they're problematic: cause glucose roller coasters that stress brain cells, promote glycation, a damaging process involving sugar and brain proteins, elevate systemic inflammation, increase cerebral insulin resistance, a risk factor for Alzheimer's, harm neuronal mitochondria. A 7-year study in the Journal of Nutrition, Health, and Aging found that seniors with high glycemic diets were almost twice as likely to develop mild cognitive impairment. Where they hide: white potatoes, especially mashed or fried, white rice, bakery goods, breakfast cereals, desserts and sweets. Healthy substitutes: sweet potatoes, low glycemic whole grains like barley and quinoa, non-starchy vegetables, healthy proteins and fats with meals to slow sugar absorption. apple cider vinegar before meals to improve glycemic response. Conclusion: these 8 foods, refined vegetable oils, added sugars, refined grains, processed animal proteins, artificial sweeteners, copper-rich foods, MSG, and high glycemic index items may be silently inflaming your brain and accelerating cognitive decline. What makes them dangerous is that many are seen as normal or even healthy in the standard Western diet. And the aging brain is especially vulnerable due to reduced antioxidant and anti-inflammatory defenses. But here's the hope. Even small changes in your diet can make a big difference. You don't need to eliminate all these foods at once. Start by replacing just 1 or 2 and take it from there. Your brain is incredibly resilient and it responds to positive change even after decades. As neuroscientist Dr. Dale Bredesen said, it's not just the age of your brain that matters, but how you treat it at every meal. Next week, we'll talk about the 7 most effective supplements for cognitive health after 70, based on the latest research. Don't miss it. If this video was helpful, leave a like and share it with someone who might benefit. Until next time.